insurance, which was a law that they created to exploit you and to feed their interests with insurance companies that paid them lots of money to lobby for insurance, because when I was younger, it was not required to have car insurance or liability when you drove a car, and you could have 3 or 4 or 5 cars. I was stacking up the cars like crazy. I had like 5 or 6 cars when I was 18. I didn't need insurance until they passed a law that says all cars are required to have insurance, and that's when I had to sell my cars, and I had to get rid of all the cars because I could only afford insurance on one car. So they fucked me over on that. I had to sell my cars, and I couldn't stack up cars. But if they wouldn't have done that, if California wouldn't have done that, I would have had thousands of cars, and I probably would have started my own dealership. So they oppressed me in that sense, because we have to pay for insurance. That's actually dead money. That's money that's going to die. That's money that doesn't give me any profit to have insurance every once in a while. What ends up happening now, though, is people are more careless. So if you're gonna get in a car accident, since you're insured, you just allow that fucking accident to fucking happen. But before, when we used to drive without insurance, we didn't want to fix the cars. We would drive more cautiously. We wouldn't want someone to hit us, so we would drive more defensively, and we would actually be more careful in driving. So what ended up happening was we drive now, but if we're about to get in an accident, we just let that shit happen, because the insurance is going to cover it, and they're going to pay us lots of money, and hopefully if we get injured, we get hundreds of thousands of dollars, which I have already been paid thousands and thousands of dollars on some car accidents that left me injured. So that's another way of fucking making money in California. California is just bleeding money everywhere. The government tries to corrupt and exploit us. We figure loopholes. We figure how to live through the corruption, how to capitalize. Actually, you know what? People don't know this because they're fucking stupid and they're rednecks, or they're uneducated. But Californians are extreme capitalists. Now, a lot of people think, oh, there's just a bunch of libtards, and here, I'll do the voice. There's a bunch of libtards in California. That damn socialist government. Everybody on welfare. Dude, there are no bigger capitalists in the United States than California. We capitalize on people's losses. That's the only way to make money in the world, is to capitalize on someone's loss. If someone's getting foreclosed, if their house is getting foreclosed. Now, I'm not saying it's ethical. I'm saying this is what it is. For those who want to learn how to capitalize on money and what capitalism is about, you're going to see capitalism is really fucked up, and it's very evil, and it only benefits the people that oppress and capitalize on a person's problems. If a person has cancer, you can start a charity and start to feed them, give them free medicine and free radiation and shit like that. Radiation is not that expensive. But since they have cancer, they'll pay anything for fucking to save their life. So they charge them hundreds of thousands of dollars to fight their fucking cancer. And it's not even a guarantee. That is capitalism. Capitalizing on their desperation to stay alive. Now, if a person is down and out, their transmission blows out. I was in the transmission industry, so I know how to rebuild transmissions. And I was those were my that was my skilled labor, was rebuilding transmissions. And you better believe I was a capitalist. My family actually owned a transmission business too. Two of them, three of them. So when a person is down and out, they don't take care of their transmission. Their car, they've been driving their car for too long, their car overheats, their transmission goes out. A person needs their fucking car. Now, I could fix it. I could fix their car for like $300 or $400, because that's how much the parts cost. The parts cost $300 or $400 because also the people that sell the car parts are capitalists in California too. They could sell me the parts for $20, and I could rebuild their transmission for $100. If the parts people were not capitalist, and I wasn't a capitalist, and I was more of a generous person, and for humanity, I would say, all right, the parts are gonna cost me about $30, and that's to rebuild the whole transmission, and I'll charge you about $100. I'll charge you about $50 to rebuild your transmission, because it's gonna take me a few hours to rebuild it. And that's honest. That's honesty, and that's humanity, and that's humane. But with capitalism, the parts person says, oh, this mechanic's gonna need parts, so I'm just gonna jack up these parts that are just basically little sheets of metal and rubber. I'm gonna sell it for $500-$600. So he can't make these damn parts because they're made in lathes. They're made in factories. They need molds, and they need to be pressed and all this shit. I'm gonna charge them $600 worth of these parts. Now, as a capitalist, that has a person that has their fucking, you could see it in their eyes. You could see it in a person's eyes when they walk in and they say, oh, my transmission's out. A capitalist not thinking about, oh, how can I make this the most affordable for this person? Well, we are actually thinking, since we are capitalists, we're like, how much is this person willing to pay to get their car fixed? And you have to hit it on the nail, because you could say, oh, it's going to cost you $3,500 to rebuild your transmission. And they say, oh shit, that I can't do that. That's too much money. I didn't know it was that much. But most transmission people know that around the price of a transmission, around $1,800 to rebuild a transmission. Now the parts, the parts to rebuild a transmission is only going to cost you $600. It's only worth like fucking $10 worth of parts, because it's called a paper and rubber kit. Paper rubber kit. So the parts are made out of paper and rubber. All the seals and the O-rings and all that shit are made out of rubber. And the clutches, the things that wear out in a car and burn, are made of paper. That's why it's called paper rubber kit. They fucking charge like $300 for the paper and rubber kit, because it's just a little bag with little paper and rubber parts. It's pure capitalism. They know people that rebuild transmissions make a lot of money, so they capitalize on that shit. Alright, so another thing, I'm giving you a lesson on capitalism and how evil it is. We would say, I was new to the business of fucking transmission rebuilding, and it was destroying my soul, because I would see people that were down, they needed their fucking car, and we were actually the only people that could fix it, because it would cost them like $300 to tow it to another fucking place, and they're just wasting money. So their backs are actually against